Hey y'all, Andrew here. In this video we're going to be talking about getting ready for camp, added adventure, or hante, whichever you're doing this summer. And to start with, a lot of you are going to be looking at your packing list and seeing that we're asking you to bring some sort of backpack. Now, Eagle's Nest has a lot of programming that requires backpacks, but depending on what you're doing, you might need different sizes. If you're staying on campus most of the time that you're here and you just need to carry around your personal belongings from, A to B, just your regular old school backpack should do the job. If you are coming to camp and you are hoping to learn how to go outside, learn some campcraft skills, maybe do a one-night backpacking trip or 3-night backpacking trip where you're actually carrying everything you need to live in the woods for at least a night, maybe 2, then you might need an actual backpacking pack. And that'll look something like this, where you have your regular shoulder straps, but also a hip belt that'll help you carry some of that weight. Now, if you're going for like 1 or 2 nights, you don't need anything big. So when you go to the store, you should look for the volume of the pack. That means how much it can carry, and that's usually in the name of the pack that you're looking at. And those folks at your local outfitter or REI, wherever you're shopping, can help you out with that. But this one is the Talon 44 liters, made by Osprey. This would be a great option if you're coming to camp, hoping to learn about backpacking or just do a little bit. Now, if you're going on an added adventure or a hante, where you will be carrying everything you need for up to a week or 2 at a time, you will need something bigger. So here's another pack from Osprey. This is the Escalante 75 plus 10. So it can carry up to 85 liters. It's almost twice as big as this other one that I have here. Now, this is a good size for what we'll be doing on hante or on added adventures, or if you're coming to camp and you're flying and you want to bring a good backpack anyways, this is a good pack to carry all of your things in as you travel. One other thing to note about packs as you're going to shop is that they come in different sizes in terms of your body size as well. So you'll need to look at how long the torso is, as well as what waist size the hip belt is designed for. And again, those people at your local outfitter can help you there as well. All right, y'all, so moving on from packs, if you are coming to camp or hante or doing an added adventure, and maybe this is your first time going outside and living outside with a group of people, you might be wondering exactly how you do that. So inside your pack, you will be putting some of these items that we have here. And in the next part of the video, I'll be going over different categories of things that we'll be carrying, like sleeping gear, how to get your water, how we're gonna cook, and a couple of other things as well. All right, so here at Eagle's Nest, when we go out into the forest to spend a night or more out in the woods, we take a few items with us to help us sleep comfortably. So the first thing we'll carry is a tent. And we have tents here at Eagle's Nest for you to borrow with a group of other campers or hante participants or added adventure participants that you'll be sharing the tent with. So our tents are about this size when they are fully packed up, but they tend to be broken down into smaller pieces so that you can share the weight inside your larger packs over here. Then some more individual items are your sleeping bag and your sleeping pad. Now, you might see this on your packing list. Every camper at Eagle's Nest, regardless of whether you're doing a campcraft class, added adventure, or hante, has the opportunity to go on a cabin camp out 1 night per session. So everyone will get that opportunity to at least experience and try to spend a night out in the woods with their cabin. So if you plan on just doing that, we do have a few of these here for you to borrow, but you can also go to your local outfitter, even your Walmart down the road, and find a nice sleeping pad that kind of helps us stay comfortable and keeps us a little bit warmer on the ground at night, and then a sleeping bag as well. This is kind of a larger sleeping bag, but you can find some that are a little bit smaller and a little bit more comfortable and warm as well. All right, so another couple of considerations to make when you're choosing your sleeping bag and your sleeping pad are what you're going to be doing with them. So if you are going on Hante or an added adventure where you will be backpacking a lot, keep in mind that you will be carrying these items on your back. Especially if you're backpacking, you will be carrying it on your back all day, day in and day out, up and down some mountains. So you do want to consider weight. Sleeping bags typically come in two different varieties. You have synthetic fill and then down fill, goose down fill. And that refers to what type of insulation is inside the sleeping bag. Goose down will compress smaller and usually weigh less. Synthetic will compress to a larger size and will weigh a little bit more. The benefit of synthetic is that it will keep you warm when it gets a little wet, and it's also usually a little bit less expensive. With sleeping pads, here you have a foam one that is extremely light, extremely inexpensive. You can get an inflatable one that will usually pack down a lot smaller and maybe even weigh a little bit less, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive. So just a couple things to keep in mind as you are thinking about what kind of gear you want to bring along.
Okay.
All right, y'all, so when it comes to drinking water and keeping our bodies hydrated here at camp and out in the woods, there are two different things that we'll think about. We'll think about how we keep water on us, readily drinkable, nearby at all times. So bring in a water bottle. Something like a Nalgene is great. They're made of plastic and very, very sturdy. They hold a liter of water, which is a great amount to have on you. Yeah, and you can find those at a local store, but we also have them here at our canteen if you forget yours. If you're coming to camp and you're a Hydro Flask fan or some other fan of something else that is a thermos essentially and keeps your water nice and cold for a long period of time, that's great. But if you're going backpacking, if you're going on an added adventure or a Hante, I do recommend that you stay clear of these when packing for your trip, because they are a lot heavier than something like your Nalgene or what you have here, which is like a plastic bladder essentially, which weighs virtually nothing. Because again, whatever you're putting on your back, you're going to be carrying around all day, and the more you're carrying on your back, the less fun you tend to have. So something to keep in mind. And then when we're out in the woods and we need to make sure that we have drinking water on hand, because we do not like to drink straight out of our water source like a creek or a lake or a river, because there could be something in it that can make us sick. We do have various ways of cleaning the water and filtering it, purifying it. We use filters, sometimes we'll use chemical drops, and if we need to, we will also just boil it. So we make sure that our water is clean, and then we have these dromedaries here, is what they're called, and we'll put clean water in them when we are out in the woods, so that we have enough drinking water for the entire group. And Eagle's Nest has plenty of these on hand to give to groups before they go out. All right, y'all, so when it comes to eating out in the woods, this is usually what makes people hesitate just a little bit, because they usually envision just a bunch of granola bars and maybe some apples. But actually you can have some really good meals out in the woods, and here's just a couple examples of the gear that helps us do that. We have here what's called a Trangia stove. It uses alcohol as fuel, and the way it's set up, you can put your pot, this aluminum pot that weighs very little, right on top when the flame is going. And you can make anything from rice and beans to pasta. I have made pizzas out in the woods using the gear that we can provide. And all of this is provided by Eagle's Nest. If you're going on Hante, added adventure, or just coming to camp, you don't need to worry about bringing any of this. We just wanted to give you an idea of what to expect. But what you do want to consider bringing is your own personal bowl, so that you're not having to borrow one from us that may have been used by someone else. And then maybe like a spork or some other lightweight plastic or metal cutlery to use as well. All right, y'all. So that is the gear that we will be using here at Eagle's Nest on whatever trip you plan to go on this summer. In a nutshell, it's not all inclusive. I didn't touch on everything that you'll see on the packing list. So if you see anything there on the list that you still have questions about, feel free to reach out to hante@enf.org, and I will do my best to help you out, or if you have any remaining questions about any of these things here. One thing I want to mention is that if you are traveling by airplane to camp, or in another way, and you're planning to use your big backpack to carry most of your belongings, do what you can to stuff everything in as much as possible. When it comes to packing for your hike or for your backpacking trip, we will guide you through that process because there is an ideal way to do that. But when it comes to traveling, the big thing you want to be concerned with is putting as many of your belongings in the main body as possible, especially if you are checking your backpack. Try not to put anything in the outside pockets because they could fall out. And then when you are checking your pack, it's also a very good idea to buckle down and tie off any straps that might be sticking out. Because as they're going down conveyor belts, sometimes these straps can get snagged in some gears or under the belt or something like that, and maybe cause some damage to your luggage or cause it to even get lost. I know from firsthand experience. So, buckle everything, take your loose straps, tie them around, really tighten everything down. You want everything basically to be as streamlined as possible. Any questions about that, feel free to reach out to the same email, and I'm happy to talk through it with you.